Alright, customer meter, service regulator, service line scope. Section 255, 353 through 379 is part of the prescribed minimum requirements, installation, customer and service regulators, service lines and service line valves, service line connection mains. Alright, customer meters, regulators location, each meter and surface regulator must be installed at readily accessible location protected with corrosion damage, include vehicular damage that may be anticipated. Each surface regulator of new rail placement surface lines, except for the placement insertion, may be installed outside of the building unless it's impractical, and surface regulator must be installed within the building. It is typically located near as practical with the point of surface line entrance. For service line requirements, surface regulators must remain inside. Regulators should be tested and inspected according to section 255.744D and E of this part. The upstream regulators of the series must be located outside of the building unless located with separate metering or regulating building. Each meter installed for the building must be located, verified, ventilated, placed no less than 3 feet from any source of ignition. Any source of heat which may damage the meter shall not be located in combustible stairways. When installing new gas for the gas regulating associated gas cleaning and prudencies as required with the building of public assembly apartment building with an apartment industrial commercial complex, each capacity is normal occupancy is 5 or more persons. Following requirements should be met. When outside impractical regulations applicable indoor insulation high pressure services shall pertain. Associated gas cleaning equipment and prudencies may be located in the same area. Meetings, pressure regulating equipment, practical regulating gas cleaning equipment should be installed with separate room for 2-hour fire resistance and is effectively sealed off remaining space of the building. In this case, indoor installation special effort shall be made to prevent indicating tampering on unauthorized persons. In all the above installations on doors except leading to the above installations, conspicuous notice shall be posted indicating instructions for action to be taken, telephone number for a proper person to be called in the event of the gas odor is detected. Alright, customer meters, regulators, protection from damage. Customer's equipment supplemental gas supply might create a vacuum. Back pressure device must be installed with the correct distribution system compliant. Mingling with the customer's supplemental gas supply and a utility supplied gas is permissible provided with the customer verified supplemental gas interchangeable gas supplied utility. Outside term is each of service regulator vent and relief vent valves be rain and insect resistant. Be located to place gas vent escape freely into the atmosphere away from the building opening in the building, minimum 18 inches where practical. Be protected by damage caused emergency in an area with flooding and ice or accumulation may occur. Each pitter valve has a customer meter regulator, a place where vehicular traffic as anticipated must be able to support the traffic. Customer meters, service regulator installation. Each regulator must be installed with a minimized anticipated stress upon the connecting pipe and the meter. When closed, all thread nipples are used in wall thickness. Remaining of threads are cut must meet the minimum wall thickness requirements of this part. Connections may lead to easily damaged material. May not be installed insulation meters or regulators. Each regulator might release gas and its operation must be vented outside the atmosphere. Customer meter installation operating pressure. A meter may not be used as more than 67% of the manufacturer's shell test pressure. Each newly installed new meter manufactured after November 12, 1970 must have been tested at a minimum of 10 psi gauge. A rebuilt and remain tin steel case meter may not be used in pressure as more than 50% of the pressure used to test meter after building or rebuilding or repairing. Service lines installation. Each buried service line shall be installed with at least 18 inches of cover. However, the underground structure prevents installation with the depth. Service must be available to withstand external load, and suitable protection must be provided. If existing service lines are installed, but the requirement is inapplicable. Each service line must properly be supported undistributed. Well compacted soil material used for the backfill must be free of materials could damage of the pipe or coating where condensate and the gas cause interruption in the gas supply with the customer. Service must be graded into the drain into a main that drips. Also, low point service line Each service must be installed to minimize the anticipated piping and strain and external loading. Each underground service line installed below the grade outer foundation of wall must be, in case of rigid sleeve, suitable protection, securing action, backfill sediment. In case of metal service line, be protected against corrosion. If be sealed, foundation wall prevent leakage to the building. When underground service line is installed, the building following requires maybe in case of gas tight continuity service line supply of the building and lateral lines extend with the normal use accessible part of the building. 3. The space between the conduit service line must be sealed and prevent gas leakage into the building. If conduit is sealed at both ends of vent line over the annular space must be expanded. Send to the point where the gas would not be a hazard. Extend beyond above grade, terminating in the rain insect resistant fitting. All service lines shall be constructed in clearance not less than 4 inches when practical to do any subsurface structures not directly associated with the pipeline. It's not practical to achieve clearance. Minimum clearance of 2 inches shall be maintained, and the pipeline shall be protected with the damage might result proximity to other structure. When steel and plastic pipe is to be installed, service line bore care should be exercised to prevent damage coating on piping during installation. Locating underground service line. Each underground non-metallic service line that is not encased must have means of locating the pipe that complies with section 255-321E. Alright, location of valves. Each service valve must be installed upstream of the regulator. If there's no regular upstream meter, each service line must have a shutoff valve readily accessible location. If feasible outside the building, valve must be located outside the building. Regulator is located with the customer building. Service line of the building is public assembly. On surface 2 inches greater in diameter, each underground service line valve must be located in covered durable cord box. Stand by the always readily open operational valve supported independently of the service line. General requirements: connection main pipe. Even service line connection to the main should be stored over the top of the main. It is not practical side of the main unless the suitable protective device installed to minimize the possibility of oil, dust, moisture being carried with the main service line. Each compression type service line main connection must be designed and installed with effectively sustained longitudinal pull-out thrust or forces caused by contraction expansion of the pipe or by anticipated external and internal loading. If the gasket under the connection service line main connection fitting have gaskets compatible with the kind of gas in the system, and if using pipelines compromise the plastic to be category 1 connection, is defined with listed specification applicable material provided seal plus resistant force pipe joint equal greater than those will cause not less than 25% elongation of the pipe, or the pipe falls outside the joint area tested in accordance with the applicable standards. Alright, connections of cast iron ductile mains. Each service line is connected with a cast iron ductile iron main connected with a mechanical clamp drilling and tamping main or by any other method meeting requirements of section 255-273 of this part. If the threaded tap is being inserted, requirements section 255, 151, B, and C of this part may also be met. Service line connections shall not be brazed directly to the cast iron ductile iron mains. Service lines must meet electrical isolation requirements section 255, 467, B of this part. Service line steel. Each steel service line is to be operated less than 100 psi gauge. Must be constructed in pipe designed for a minimum of 100 psi gauge. Cast iron ductile iron. Cast iron ductile iron pipe shall not be used for new or replacement of service lines. Service line plastic. Each plastic service outside of the building must be installed below the ground except when installed within accordance with section 255-321-1. This part, it may terminate above ground level outside the building. Above ground plastic service to protect against deterioration, external damage. Plastic service line is not used to support external loads in the riser portion of service lines beneath the design requirement section 255-201 of this part. Each plastic service inside of the building must be protected against external damage and must not be exposed. Installation plastic service lines by trenchless excavation. Plastic service lines installed by trenchless excavation must comply with the following. Each operator practical step to provide excavation clearance for installation maintenance activities of underground utility structures at the time of the installation. Each pipeline section, plastic pipe components that are pulled from the ground must use weak link as defined in Section 255.3 of this part to ensure the pipelines will not damage excessive force during the pulling process. Service line copper. Each copper service line installed with the building must be protected against external damage. New service lines not in use. Each service line that is not placed or serviced upon completion of installation must comply with one of the following if the customer is supplied with gas. Valve is closed to prevent flow of gas if the customer must tamper-proof construction provide locking device or other means designed to prevent opening with a valve piston other than an authorized operator. Mechanical device or fitting of the prevent flow of gas must be installed with the service line of the meter. Assembling mechanical device or fitting should be type that cannot be removed except from properly authorized people of the operator. And C, the customer piping must be physically connected from the gas supply, physically disconnected from the gas supply and the open pipes and sealed. Service lines excess flow valve. Alright, excess flow valves used in service lines operate continuously throughout the year. The pressure is not less than 10 psi. The gauge must be manufacturer tested, manufacturer according to the industry specification, manufacturer written specification ensure each valve will function properly at maximum operating pressure at which the valve is operated, function properly, the temperature response expected in the operating environmental service line. A 10 psi gauge no more than 50% of the rated closure flow rate specified by the manufacturer. Open close reduce the gas of the level indicated for excess flow valve design to allow pressure equalized across the valve no more than 5% of the manufacturer specified closure flow rate of maximum of 20 cubic feet per hour. Excess flow valve designed to prevent equalization of the pressure across flow valve no more than 0.4 cubic feet an hour. Not less than the pressure less than manufacturer's minimum specified operating pressure flow rate with the manufacturer's minimum specified flow rate. Excess flow rate must meet the applicable requirements of the part regarding material design, pipeline components. The operator must mark with the otherwise identified presence for each of the flow valve of the service line. Operator shall locate the excess flow valve of the near practical fitting connected service line to the source of gas supply. Operator shall not install the excessive flow rate with service line with the operator pass or experience with the contaminant with the gas string while these images could examine and cover the excess flow valve malfunction where the excessive flow valve would interfere with the necessary operation maintenance activity service such as blowing liquids from the line. And that was 381. Alright, excess flow valve customer installation definitions. You have the branch service line meaning the gas service line that begins if the H existing service is installed concurrently with the primary service line but serve the separate residential. Replace service line means the gas service line fitting that connects the service line to the main. Replace or piping connected with the fitting is replaced. Service line serving the single family residence means the gas service line begins the fitting that connects the service line main and service only one single family. Installation requirement excessive flow valve installation must comply with the performance standards 255-381 of this part after April 14, 2017. Each operator must install an excessive flow valve. Any new or replaced service line servicing the following type of service line activated. Single service line of the SFR or single service line family residence. Branch line service single family residence installed current with a single family residence service line may be installed with the predictable service lines. Branch service single family residence installed previously. Installed service family residence service line that does not contain excess flow valve. Multiple family residence known as customer loads. Noticing 1000 SCFH per service line serve the installation based on installed meter and capacity. And single small customer servicing a service line with a known customer not exceeding 1000 SCFH a time meter installation based on installed near capacity. Exemption to excess flow rate installation requirements. Operator need not to install excess flow rate one or more of the following conditions present. The service line design operated 10 size greater throughout the rear. Operator prior experience contamination gas stream that could introvert with the excess flow valve operation cause loss of service of the residence. An excess flow valve could interfere with the necessary operation maintenance activities blowing liquids from the line. Excess flow valve means meeting performance section standard of 258-5-381 of this part non-commercial available to the operator. Customer right to request access flow valve. Existing service of the customer who desires access flow valve with the service line not exceeding 1,000 SCAFH will not qualify for the exemption subdivision C. Section may request access flow valve to be installed on the service line. Eligible service line customers request excessive flow valve installation. Operator must install excessive flow valve with a mutual agreeable date. Operators notification customers concerning excess flow valve installation. Operators must notify the customer request for excess flow valve manner. Except the specified subdivision C with the paragraph F5 of the subdivision, each operator must provide written electronic notification customer right to request installation. Excess flow valve electric notification include website emails, e-billing notices. Notification must include explanation for the line of the customer potentially safety benefit that may be derived in installing excess flow valve. Explanations must include information excess flow valve design shut off the flow of the natural gas automatically service line breaks. Notification must include a description of excess flow valve installation. Replacement cost notice to alter the customer's cost maintaining and replacing excess flow valve may later incurred while those costs are known. Notification must indicate service line customer request excess flow line. The load does not exceed 1,000 SCFH. Condition subdivision C section not present. Operator must install excess flow valve multiple agreeable date. Operators master meter systems liquid petroleum gas. Operators fewer than 100 customers may continuously post general notification in prominent location of frequently used customers. F. Operator evidence customer notification. Operator must make it available to the department a copy of notice and notice currents. Each operator must report excess flow valve measure detail annual report at Title 49 19111. It was 83. Alright, manual service line shutoff valve installation definition. Even this manual service shutoff valve means a curved valve a manually operated valve located near service line, safety accessible to the operator personnel authorized by operator manually shut off gas flow to service line if needed. Installation requirement. Operator must install the manual service line shutoff valve. Possible being sound engineering analysis available to exit flow valve for any new or replaced service line installed with a meter capacity exceeding 1,000 SCFH. Accessible maintenance manual service line shutoff valves for any new replaced service line must be installed in such a way that allow accessible during an emergency. Manual service shutoff valves installed under this section, subject to regularly scheduled maintenance as documented by the operator, consistent with the valve manufacturer's specification. And that completes customer service regulator and service lines.